So today we're going to try to replace this bad boy. It's a steering wheel lock actuator. I believe that's what broke. So like steering wheel, it just spins, and it actually wouldn't shut off on me. So I had to. Luckily, it was manual, so it was easy to stall it out and undo the battery. But you see this thing from Napa Solutions. It says right on it, right in big letters, China. So, I mean, it's decently made, but I don't know why they don't just make it out of solid steel. One piece of solid steel. But we're going to see how fun this is to remove. So first off, I'm going to get, first off, I'm going to unplug the battery, which I already did because it wouldn't cut off for me and I unplugged the battery. But either way, you want to unplug the battery. So, right here. And then right here, we're going to start with those. Take those off. We'll get the steering wheel cover off. And turn it. We'll get this steering wheel cover off. So, steering wheel cover, of course, you have all your wiring for the horns, your cruise control. So, we're just going to go in here. So, blue. We're going to plug these, slide these out. I'm going to get me some needle nose actually, because I'm not going to bare-handed. Slide those out. And down here, got the ground. You can see how you just pinch that. I don't think I can get that with my finger. I got my big fingers. But we'll just pinch that. We'll take those out and put that aside. So these actually just unplug right here. They actually were able to pull right out. And the ground, you can see where it just, see if it focuses. There we go. It just pinches right on in there. Right into that bottom screw hole. So, we got that. We can put that in our fun parts bin. Now we got the nut. So, 15/16. That's not too good. Pretty easy. Now, fun part is, because this is not going to come off. So we'll get I have a harmonic balancer puller. We're going to see if that is small enough to fit that, because I do not have a steering wheel puller. So, next up is to see if that works. So, we got our cheap harmonic balancer puller on there. You can see, we'll thread right into there. It's actually pretty easy. Almost too easy. There we go. Right off. All right, so now we got some stuff right here. So we're going to start off with taking that Phillips off. So got that one out. I got that one back there loose, but don't need it for right now. There's actually another one right behind this little tab. You can pull down. Took those two out. You can take your Phillips, or you can take the blinker shifter, take it out, kind of pull on it a little bit. Let's get that wire around that hazard. Okay, so we got that around the steering. So we got wires back here. Kind of need some more play. I'm going to try to reach down underneath back here, see if I can get some more play. But it also looks like we're definitely going to need to undo this little bolt right here. I'm going to do this screw back here. I don't see another screw. Ooh, there is another screw right there. That looks like this whole cover is connected to that pretty much. There also is, I don't know if you can see, right where my finger's pointing, there's a snap ring right there. So you're going to need a snap ring pliers. And I'm going to take this one off and those Phillips. I'm not going to take that screw off yet. I don't want to take too many off at the same time, but this should just pull right out by itself. But we're going to start with that. So that screw, I took out. Of course, I took this one out right here. That came right off, right here, over here, and down there. So this little bolt that holds this little ground on right here. Sorry, yeah, bolt. That one, but it's the one right here. This FYI, it's 7mm. Just want to let you know. So basically, what was happening before, when I would turn it's happened. My key to my truck. Oh, nice if I could videotape. It would just spin. The whole thing, she's just spinning. And of course, it's not all connected right now, but what it was doing is this little piece right here. That's supposed to be up here hooked to that. So this whole shish-kebabber right here. Sorry if I'm videotaping, it sucks. This whole piece. So it's all supposed to be connected, and this piece goes back in there. So let me find a better position for my phone, and I'll take this apart. So this piece goes up in there, connects right to that piece. That piece we got to get out. But this piece actually goes on. If you can see that little nubby on like that. And that's what, when you turn your key, see it runs on those, and it moves that. And then that pulls that piece that it's connected to. And we have to get that little pin in the top out, because you can see, I can push it in, pull it out a little bit. You have to get that little pin out to get it back in too. But that piece comes out. As you see, that's what we're looking at. That's the piece that broke. That's what we're looking at. That piece goes all the way down in there. So this might be fun. But that is our culprit. All right, let's see if we can't get this pin out. I'll tell you how bad it is. So I was able to get that little roller pin out. It's kind of tight in there. You can go from each side. So I had to pull this thing all the way out as far as to go. And I got this little kit that actually worked out perfectly. I haven't used those in years. Works right great. But they're actually punches for that. So they're rounded at the top, and they're meant for those roller pins. So I'm just going to leave that pin right there, because I'll be able to get it to it from this side easier than this side. Actually, it's a pain in the ass. But getting it back on, I figure I'll go easier route on the way back in, hopefully. So then, pop this thing out. This little thingamajigger. Let's take our little so that pin is out, and that just slid in. We just have to, I gotta figure out how to get it out of the way. I might have to actually, see, now it's out of the way. So what I'm thinking I gotta do is, it's not one to come. Definitely not one to come straight out. So, of course, we don't want to break anything. So, and you see how it's new in the package. It's grooved. So, of course, it's pulling on something and pushing on something. So, it looks like that thing probably goes a little ways back there. From here to there. See the length of it. So, I'm going to go underneath and do a little bit of investigating down here. It looks like we're going to have to take a little bit more apart. Alright, guys. So, this has been fun. But, so what I did, back that out. So, it's actually out farther right now. I'll show you when I put it back in. But, there was those pins in there. They are right there. I was able to get a punch. Let me get my punch. boom. You go opposite way and knock them out. You can actually also, too, they're threaded. So you could put a bolt in there and pull them out. But that gave me enough room to pull the old piece out. And of course, you have to hold your tilt open because it kind of keeps it locked. So, pull the other one. Now we're going to put the other one back in. Alrighty. So, I put the pins back in already, but I was able to pull it out just enough to get that other one out. Slide the other one in. I didn't do it too far because that spring was trying to push. So, we got our pin back down in this hole. Drive that cotter pin back in. Cotter pin. Put that back in. It's in our groove. And then we'll get it all the way tight so we can get our snap ring back on. I'm just leaving a little bit of slack. And then we'll start putting it back together. I actually took these covers off back here. There was a screw on each side just to investigate a little bit more, but I did not need to, FYI. And this job helps too if you have a magnetic end screwdriver, which I did not bring one. So, but it does help. So we'll start putting it back together. All right, so this piece, it goes on that, so it won't fit right there. So what we got to do is, I wish I could hold my phone, it's better. Push this sucker all the way back with your finger. And let me see if I can get it good. Probably not. So we got your end right here. It goes on that. Push this sucker all the way back. You can't even see it. There's some tension on it too. There it is. It's on there. You can see where it. Hey, I mean, it's slack, but I mean, that's where when everything goes back into place, when it goes back into its actual slot for the key, because right now it's all the way out. So, and the key is all the way the opposite way where it was. But when it goes back in there, you won't have all this fun stuff. But now we can actually put that back on and slowly assemble it. All right, so got some company. Miss Maddie, what are you doing? Oh, what the fuck do you have? Who knows? Something from the garden. So you can see my key. It's all the way. Everything's flush. Got it, and click over. See it move right there? And if you push it any farther, once you push the whole thing out, push out it, screws. We can start putting all the screws back in the back that need to be put in, and then we can screw our wiring harness back on. And we go from there. And remember that ground and that 7mm. So let's put it back together. So we got the screws back in there. We can take our wiring harness, slide it back over, get your hazard lined up in there. So remember you got that screw, and then if you notice on the back of your steering wheel you got this little groove right here. So that groove goes right into there. Just to help keep everything kind of, you see what I mean? Kind of keep everything kind of flush. So I'll get this back on. This bad boy goes back in here. 7mm. Get your 2 screws in. Go from there. So we got the steering wheel back on. Got everything bolted back on, back in there. So you can see this little groove that I was talking about. You can see the groove down there for steering wheel. And I'm just gonna take my pick, move it to where I need it. That should be about right there. Then we'll take our nut and crank it back on there. All right, so we got our nut cranked on there with about 100 pounds of elbow grease. don't forget you just screw that bad. It's a little swivel thing in there. You can see it. So you kind of got to get lined up. Then get it screwed in. So now we got our cover. Take our horn wires. Not really good at doing this on the camera, apparently. And then remember, your little ground goes right in that there. It just kind of sits in there. And then, make sure your wires are good. Put your screws back in back here, one on each side. And we'll find, I hooked the battery back up and we're gonna find out if she works. Moment of truth. Lights have been on, don't worry about those. All right. And she cuts off. Mission accomplished.